you considering attacking the cartels inside of Venezuela? You attack?
What are you going to find out?
So President Trump leaving the door open to possible military strikes inside Venezuela as the U.S. ramps up its military presence on the doorstep of deadly narco cartels, sending in 10 F-35 fighter jets to Puerto Rico last week, adding to the 7 U.S. warships and nuclear-powered submarine in the southern Caribbean. Former acting DEA Administrator Derek Maltz will join us now. Derek, thank you very much for being here. What do you see President Trump and his administration doing next year?
Well, let's just go back in time, Sandra. Like, people forget that President Maduro exported the monsters, the TDA monsters, we call them. They're all over the country causing havoc. That's number one. For the last 20 years, the Venezuelan corrupt regime has formed very strong alliances with the major drug cartels in Colombia, the FARC, the ELN. They're all terrorists. In February, the president declared them terrorists. And I think that's what the American public have to understand. We are treating them now as terrorists. They're going to feel the pain. They're going to feel accountability. It's about time. Bill Melugin, thank you for all the unbelievable reporting the last 4 years on the border. Well, now that's gone because President Trump and this administration is going to hold these criminals accountable. He's going to put Americans first. That's exactly what was voted for in November. So we're very appreciative. What we think is going to happen is more and more, attacks on these vessels. I'm sure hoping there's going to be some attacks on the drones. When I was in Texas, for example, they were talking about 9,000 drones had come into the U.S. airspace. And some of these drones, as you see on TV, they drop C4 explosives. So we have to go after the drones. I hope we go after the command and control, the poisonous labs in Mexico, in Venezuela, all over the place. We have to stop the death and destruction of our communities and our families.
Derek, I think when a lot of Americans think about drug smuggling, they're picturing coming in through our land border, right? Cars coming through ports of entries, people backpacking it across the border, that sort of a thing. What's going on out there in the Caribbean? Why is Trump making the Caribbean such an area to enforce on?
So, Bill, good question. So the cartels, they're trying to make, billions of dollars. Since they can't make it on human trafficking now, they're trying to make up for the money lost. So they now transport more than ever cocaine all over the world, not just into America, but they're using the record amounts of cocaine production in South America to their advantage. So they're taking now advantage of the addiction to cocaine around the world. So President Trump and, the Department of War, thank God they're involved now. They are going to be looking at these smugglers as they're trying to get drugs not only into the U.S., but to move it around the world. Because at the end of the day, Bill, it's about making money for the cartels and these corrupt regime members in Venezuela. They want to maximize the profits. They want to limit their risk. But the game changer is the hundreds of thousands, if not over 1 million, American citizens that they've destroyed, they've killed. People just have to understand one thing. There's never been a terrorist organization in the history of this country that has killed all these Americans. So thank you, President Trump, Vice President Vance, Secretary of War, Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. Thank you so much for what you're doing.
All right, Derek, really appreciate you getting on the program. We'll see where all this goes next. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks, Derek.
Thank you.
All right.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.